Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 98 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series, where today I'd like to start playing with a new mod, at least new to this series, and also relatively new to the modding scene. Today I want to check out Ars Nouveau. Ars Nouveau is a new mod inspired by Ars Magica, which is basically a mod that allows you to create your own custom spells and magical abilities, and it also has some magical entities that you can tame and control to do a bunch of cool stuff. Now, I played with this a little bit on Forgecraft, but not a lot. So I'd like to spend a couple episodes here learning the ins and outs of this mod in, number one, a less laggy environment, because Forgecraft, as we know, tends to be extremely laggy, but also number two, see what's new, because I suspect there's been quite a few updates since I played with it on Forgecraft, and I'd like to check it out and see what kind of cool, fun automations and neat things we can do with it. So, without further ado, let's get started with Ars Nouveau. And to do so, we need a worn notebook. This is the first thing to make. It requires mana gems, which are found within arcane ore. So if you've been out mining about in the world, you will find that there is arcane ore out there. I've got a lot of these mana gems, in fact. So if we took a look, we'd see that there's quite a few mana gems out there. And I already have a worn notebook, so I don't even have to craft it. Today I learned. Was not aware of that until this moment. Sweet. And hey, we've got our old Patchouli book, which is, I love that modders have standardized on Patchouli like this, because it just makes for a consistent in-game guide experience. So again, I've said it before, I'm saying it again, huge shout out to Vasky for making such an awesome mod and making it available for everybody to use. So let's flip through this book and see what we got. So I'm kind of go through these in the order that they're presented, because I assume that's what the intention of the guide is, right? So let's, and I also like the unlock complete thing. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about staged unlocks, like as you complete certain tasks it unlocks other things. I think if the mod is truly staged, that kind of makes sense, but I also like the idea of being able to see everything right from the get-go, so you don't not know what's coming, right? So it's not like, I have no idea what phase 3 has for me, I'll find out when I get there, and then you get to phase 3 and you're like, oh, this wasn't worth it, you know? So I kind of like everything being open. But let's check it out. An introduction to Ars Nouveau. It is recommended to follow each section in order. See? Totally covered. So spellcasting. To begin spellcasting, you'll need to first obtain a spellbook. A spellbook will allow you to create, store, and cast spells using mana. A higher tier spellbook will provide additional spell slots, allowing you to craft more complex spells. To craft your first spell, you must select the form that the spell will take on. A form glyph must always be the first glyph in a spell recipe. Next, add any number of effects to the chain. Effects refer to what the spell will do, and they will resolve in the order they are placed in the book at the target or location the spell hits. An augment can be used to modify the way an effect or form behaves. Augments may be placed after an effect or form. An augment will only apply to the glyph to the left of it. Multiple augments may also be applied on the same effect or form by chaining augments together. If you would like to set a spell to a different tab, select the tab on the right and repeat the process above. Several key bindings are provided for using Spellbook. C to open Spellbook, quick select, next spell, and previous spell. Sweet. We should check that out. So simply put, first things first, we need a Spellbook. And obviously I'm just kind of floating above my house right now, because that's, you know, how I do. So let's do this, and let's do this, and let's do this. Sweet. And then you. Do we not have, like, books on Autocraft? We may not. I don't even know. But hey, Spellbook. Hello, sir. Look at this awesome texture, by the way. And look at the bottom left. Look how fancy I love it. I love how cool it looks. Like, look at that little spell bar. It's beautiful. That's fancier looking than it was on Forgecraft, right? I don't remember it being that fancy looking, but I like it. I like the little animated. And I assume as we cast spells, it's going to cost things, right? So it looks like we have a couple basic things already set. So projectile, touch, and self are your forms. And then break and harm are also the effects that we have. And we don't have any augments unlocked. So for example, if we wanted a projectile break spell, all we would have to do is click that and then that, and we will call it break and create the spell. Sweet. That's cool. That is cool. Okay, so let me do this. Let me do controls, keybinding C, Psi Master Keybind, save hotbar activator, creative mode, no. Spellbook, yes. Corporeal request from Britannia, no. Clear crafting grid, no. No. Ah, How did you not do that? Configure installed module GUI from modular routers. I do like that. I'll leave C there, and hopefully now it might need to be on in my hand for this thing to work. In that case, leaving the size spellbinding might not be terrible. Open spellbook is C. Quick select. We don't have a hotkey for that, so let's controls key. For R's, we'll do category. So next is X. Previous we can hold off on. Toggle selection HUD. I like the idea of that. So maybe we should do that. I'm not sure what keybind I want for that. H sound good? I think that's what we were using for hover mode. Ooh, look at that. Nice. Fancy times. Cool. And now I should have a projectile break spell. So if I right click this guy, boom. Nice, that's cool. And you can see my mana usage on the bottom. So it's obviously draining mana, but that's pretty cool. Not enough mana. So can't quite yet spam it, but I assume that as we progress and tech up, we will have access to more and more of a larger mana pool. Speaking of, spell mana is used to cast spells with the spellbook. The maximum amount of mana and the speed at which it regenerates may be increased by wearing special mage armor or by applying the mana boost or mana regen enchantments on your gear. Additionally, you will gain bonus mana and regeneration for each glyph unlocked in your spellbook. Adding glyphs to your spellbook will also increase your maximum amount of mana and mana regeneration. This bonus also scales with the tier of your spellbook. Sweet. That's cool. So wearing enchanted armor. Now this guy, he doesn't look like he accepts much by way of enchants. So we might need to... Yeah. We might need to either craft the Ars Magica armor and wear it for this segment. I'll still have creative mode flight, but we obviously won't have, like, you know, unlimited armor. So we can die again. But that's okay. I'm okay with that. That looks cool. We'll probably play with that a little bit, but I do quite like that. I do quite like it. Neat. Neat. Yeah. So then this is your spell 1. This is spell 2. That's cool. So now I could have, for example, a projectile harm spell. We'll call it harm and create that on spell 2. Now we can choose harm and go find an entity to test this on, right? Excuse me, cows. Aha! That wasn't bad. Sweet. Okay. So far, so good. I like it. Now we can totally do modifiers on that once we get there. And hey, I think no, I didn't. Okay. For a minute there, I was like, did I level up? No. It's just the number on the left there represents the chosen spell, right? That's all it is. Not a big deal. Sweet. All right, so that's intro to spellcasting, which looks pretty good so far. Starter spell, starting out, you only have access to a few effects and forms. Once you have access to Glyph Press, you'll be able to craft any spell. To help you in your decision, here are a few spells to start with. So Break is obviously breaks the block. We saw that. Harm. Haste is a starter spell? I didn't see that one. Light, Amplify. Oh, maybe these aren't... Oh, these are saying these are things you can make with the Glyph Press. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so that's cool. So we'll check those out in a minute. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I've got to... So let's see. Oh, nope, shift click doesn't work. Okay. I should keep you on harm mode and make sure we hit C to open up the crafting. That makes sense. I like that. Oh, cool. Check that out. There's a reference to the book. Nice. And then I think you can also color your spells, which is cool. So if we wanted the harm effect to be more of like a red color, we could do something like this, right? And save it. And now when I shoot my harm spell, it's like a red particle effect. That's kind of cool. And then we can also color this guy. Like, let's make Breaking Block cyanish. Oh, that is neat. I'm going to have to be careful with that. Do you break tile entities? I can only assume that you break tile entities, right? Yes, let's be very careful with that. We have to be very careful with a projectile break spell. Yeah, I know we're gonna. I'm setting the stage. We're gonna have a problem with this in the future. I'm gonna break something I didn't mean to break, and you're all gonna laugh at me. And just be prepared for that. Okay, so accessing new spells will require a small amount of setup resources and base building. New spells can be learned by obtaining items called glyphs. Glyphs are created by the glyph press using magical clay, a reagent, and world mana. Once you have obtained a glyph, simply use it with a spellbook in your inventory in order to write the glyph to the book. So we want a glyph press, and we also want to learn about mana. So the glyph press is how we learn new spell components. So if we look in JEI, we'll see Ars Magica has like all these other glyphs that are available that do all kinds of other cool stuff, right? There's tons of things that you can create spell-wise. However, we only have access, again, to a handful of these. So if I put you on like 6 and then right-click, invalid spell. Well, that's good to know. Sweet. Neato. I like it. So we will find more by playing with the glyph press. So if you saw my Forgecraft series, you get this, right? But if you haven't, I want you to understand how to play with this mod. So accessing new spells requires a special machine designed to convert reagents into spell glyphs. These glyphs can be used to unlock new spells in the spellbook, or may be used in special crafting recipes. Create a glyph will require a special form of magical clay, a reagent for the spell, and nearby mana provided by a mana jar. To use the glyph press, first place your clay into the press, then use the reagent provided on the press. If there is enough mana nearby, the press will begin crafting. Mana can be provided by a nearby mana jar. The glyph press may be automated using hoppers. A hopper from any side will do. If there is enough mana nearby, the crafting will start automatically, and he'll auto output to a chest if desired. So there's a couple things we need. We need the glyph press itself. And now, did that add it to JEI? No. Okay, cool. So let's do glyph. So we want the glyph press. Right. The other things we're going to want here are magic clay. So this is, I think, like your tier 1 spells. So like spells are kind of tiered. So this is your tier 1 spell. This is your tier 2 spells. These are your tier 3 spells. And that looks pretty cool. So we're going to definitely want magical clay. We want at least the tier 1, which is magic. And that'll be good. Now, world mana is interesting. We have to generate mana from things happening in the world and store them in a jar so that we can then use that mana to do our spell crafting. Okay, so it's a special form of mana that must be gathered using devices in the world. World mana is used for powering devices like the glyph press and enchanting apparatus. To begin gathering world mana, you will need a mana jar and mana collecting device. So first off, mana jar. Basically, it's just a storage for mana. That's all it is. That's it. Pretty straightforward. Simply place the jar near your desired device. Mana jars will provide a signal to redstone comparators based on their fill level. So that's cool. So we definitely want the mana jar. So let's add this to our to-do list. So this is the one we want, not the creative one, obviously. Oh, that's cool. Jar of Voiding, Jar of Light. I'm interested. I'm not sure what those are, and I'm kind of curious. So the Mana Condenser provides world mana to mana jars that are placed underneath it. This mana is collected from special world events that occur near it. These events include crop growth, animal breeding, and monsters that die nearby. Note, Mana Condensers will stop working in the event that another Mana Condenser is placed too close. That's neat. Cool. So we definitely want a Mana Condenser. Now, the other one that's listed here I did not remember from Forgecraft. That's the Volcanic Accumulator. The Volcanic Accumulator generates mana by consuming blazing archwood or passively based on the number of lava source blocks underneath it. As the Volcanic Accumulator produces mana, it also produces heat used for spawning lava lilies and converting stone into lava. The Volcanic Accumulator automatically outputs to nearby jars, starting with the one closest to it. Nearby blazing archwood items will be burned up in exchange for a chunk of mana and a moderate amount of heat. That's cool. Or, passive generation, lava in the 3x3 space beneath the accumulator will generate mana passively. Each source block will provide an additional bonus mana and a small amount of heat. Interesting. So basically, a 3x3 area of lava with one of these on top can make this happen, is what I'm getting from this. Now, the Volcanic Accumulator will occasionally convert stone into magma blocks and magma blocks into lava, given that these blocks exist beneath it in its 3x3 area. This conversion is dependent on the amount of heat it has produced over time. The Volcanic Accumulator will also spawn a lava lily adjacent to it, given that there is nothing covering the lava. Lava lilies may be harvested and used for decoration. Neat. I like that. That's cool. Lava lilies, huh? Sweet. The color of a lava lily changes if it is placed above lava, magma, or other blocks. Huh. We should try that out for sure, just to see what it's about. Because it looks... I don't know what's going to be better. I've not tried that one. So let's try the accumulator too, because that's new to me. So these are both ways to generate mana. So let's start with the glyph press we can get to in a bit, but we should learn how to make arcane stone because we don't know how to make that. So let's make sure that some of the things we need to know how to make are known. So you can go in here, right? That's just cobblestone is what it is, and it'll ore dictionary with cobble, and that should be fine, right? So the glyph press we should have no problem with, and that's easy peasy. The magic clay, we should probably teach you how to make magic clay as well, because I suspect we're going to need, like, many of these in the future. So that should be fine. We'll get, like, you know, 10-ish of them now. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. The mana jar, we can definitely get one of these, or maybe 2 of these would be cool. And then we want the mana condenser, which looks pretty straightforward. This is the one that generates things off crop growth, animal breeding, and mobs dying nearby. So I could totally put one of these down in my mob farm, or I could put it next to my crop area. And then the Volcanic Accumulator here also seems pretty straightforward. So that's neato. So let's try all these bad boys out. So the first one I'm going to try is the crop growth, right? And let's see how that works out. All right, so let's see what we got. So what I'm going to do is plop down our mana jar here and then place the mana condenser on top. And in theory, what should happen is every time a crop grows, you can see mana being generated in the jar. That's pretty cool. And it just so happens that very recently, we were able to create some pretty significant crop growth using the Sigil of the Green Grove, which I already have on my hotbar ready to activate to see how this goes. So is there like a limit to how often this thing can feed? Or is that just, you know, I don't know. It obviously doesn't work on bone meal. And it looks like the Sigil of the Green Grove does a bone mealing effect. So that's interesting to see. So it looks like it needs natural crop growth rather than a bone mealing effect. Which is fine. I'm okay with that. Let's try a different approach then. So what I'm going to do is turn you off. And I'm going to plop down my buddy rats, because rats also speed up growth, but they might not do bone mealing. Yeah, see that? That's what's up. That's cool. So there's 2 ways to increase crop growth in Minecraft. There is increasing the frequency of random growth ticks, which is how crops grow. So rather than happening like once every minute on average, they happen once every 10 seconds on average. That's what the rat's doing. He's making it more frequently attempt to grow and therefore succeed to grow. The other option is obviously applying bone meal or a bone meal-like effect. So the Sigil of the Green Grove is just like right-clicking on this thing with bone meal, right? And that's, hey, sad rats. Are you eating my crops? I think I just figured out what happened to our crops a little bit ago. Remember when my crops disappeared? And I was like, hey, what happened to the crops? I think I know. So those 2 approaches are basically how you can bone meal things, or like, you know, force crop growth. And I think it's important to note that, because now we kind of have an idea that, okay, bone mealing, which is this effect, does not work. And that would also be, so you can see here, like, yeah, that's not generating mana. Okay. But if there's something that can do random growth tick improvement, that should help with mana generation. And that might be cool to try. So one thing's for sure, we know for a fact that, hey, could you, what's your timing on this, by the way? Do you tell me in any way, shape, or form where you're at in terms of the timing? Where is my timer? It's got to be around here somewhere. There it is. It's that thing. So he's got some time left before he runs. All right. We could just leave that there to passively collect mana, and that seems pretty cool. Let's get another jar, though, because I really want to try out the lava thing. And that looks interesting to me. So let's get a few buckets of lava. So I think the largest area that it said it supported, if I'm not mistaken, was a 3x3, right? And I haven't entirely decided how all this is going to work, but my goal is to come up with something that's going to look neat in the long run, right? So maybe I'll have an area dedicated to this, but like just as we're experimenting and playing, I'm just going to pop down into my basement and place down a 3x3 of lava and see what it looks like. Obviously, I'd like to have some kind of cool... I need to figure out, like, do I want, like, one generic magical place? And then I can do things like Ars Nouveau and Man and Artifice and a few other magic-based mods kind of in the same magical area? Or do I want to do something different? I haven't quite figured out the answer to that question yet. But basically, we want to do this, and then 3 more buckets. Hey, what are you doing? That doesn't... Oh, right, I left you in 3x3 mode. Goodness, Dyer. Try to keep up. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, so you go over the lava. No, not there. I mean, you look cool. I will give you that. You are a very cool looking dude. Ah. Can you go here? Oh no, look, interestingly, what are you doing? Oh, you're placing those lava lilies. That's good to know. All right, so what I might want to do then is pop you here, buddy. Now, can I break the block under you? Apparently, yes. And then we can place a new source block. Like so. So I'm trying to figure out, like, why would I use the other one instead of this? I don't know what the speed of this looks like. So let's pop a mana jar nearby, and he should, in theory... Ah, there he goes. Nice. He's shooting little projectiles of mana into the thing. Neat. That is cool. So I guess he's accumulating heat. So is it accurate to say that if there was stone underneath him, his heat would turn the stone into magma and then the magma into lava? Is that what I'm understanding? Because look, he's... That's cool. That's cool. So he's purple now. I'm trying to understand how this works. If there's like a downside to it, to the heat. I don't understand the heat mechanic. Lava in the 3x3 space beneath the accumulator will generate mana passively. Each source block will provide an additional bonus mana and a small amount of heat. The Volcanic Accumulator will occasionally convert stone into magma and magma blocks into lava, given that these blocks exist beneath in the 3x3 area. This conversion is dependent on the amount of heat it is produced over time. The Volcanic Accumulator will also spawn a lava lily adjacent to it, given that there is nothing covering the lava. Lava lilies may be harvested and used for decoration. So nothing tells me that there's like... It's bad to have heat, right? Oh, look, he did. He turned into the thing. That's kind of cool. I guess lava lilies don't burn. So look, he turned into like he's got a more of a pink bottom than purple, I guess would be a good way to describe that. And then the mana, the stone block turned into a magma block. So that's kind of cool. That's neat. I wonder if not addressing the heat is in some way bad. I don't quite understand that. I could see there being a situation where, you know, having heat means that the thing is less effective, so you want to replace the lava with stone constantly, so that you're constantly, you know, keeping it in a stable state. But, I mean, you know, he's generating mana, so that's cool. So I should be able to get a few more jars, you know, and go with that. Ba-doop, ba-doop. And then he'll spread to his nearest one, I think he said. So, like, once this is full, he'll probably start spreading to the others. And then what we'll do is accumulate mana in both ways, right? So we'll let you accumulate mana directly into this jar, and the other ones go there. And that's a nice way to get mana, world mana, for the crafting needs we're going to have in just a moment. So for the time being, let's use, this is kind of my magical area, and we kind of abandoned Mana and Artifice for a bit while we were waiting for an updated version, but now that there is an updated version, I might play with it more, but I'm just talking a lot at this point. So let's check out the Glyph Press. So the Glyph Press is, this is a different model than it was previously, isn't it? I feel like it is. Man, the models in this mod are just something else, aren't they? They are just out of this world. Super cool. So the mana jar goes over here, ba-doop, and that looks good. And that means we're now ready to start making stuff, right? World generation, this is the, I'm not going to look at those just yet, but probably soon. I should probably peek through them. Starting automation, trinkets, upgrades, better casting, apparatus crafting. We'll look at all those in a minute, but let's look at the different spell types we can get. So resources, arcane ore, we know about. Archwood trees have a small chance to spawn in a biome and come in 4 types. Required for crafting casting wands. That's cool. There's several decorative blocks that are available. Lava lilies, a decorative block that can be placed on any liquid or block. The texture of this block varies if it is placed on lava, a magma block, or any other block. Cool. Mana Bloom Seed, a magically infused flower. Mana blooms provide additional mana to nearby mana condensers as they grow and provide a source of mana. We need an enchanting apparatus to make that. I would like one of those. Mana Bloom Seed. I definitely want some of those. So we should plan to make those. Source Berry Bush. A source berry bush can be found in taiga biomes and produces source berries. A source berry can be used to craft a potion of mana regeneration or consumed as food. Carbuncles will automatically harvest fully grown source berry bushes, making them useful for early automation of the mana condenser. Sweet. We should look into carbuncles at some point. Definitely want to play with them, because they're neat. They're like golems a little bit, and then I think they can do tasks for you. But now let's look at the tier 1 spells, which are all these guys. Wow, there's a lot of tier 1 spells. Then there's tier 2 and tier 3. Nice. Tier 2 spells, tier 3 spell book. I think that should be spells, probably. But you get the idea. So tier 1 spells. Some of these we already know, like these 3, right? Projectile. But if we needed to recreate the glyph, we could. Rune, self, right? Touch. Rune, I assume is just like you place it on the ground and it'll activate when a mob walks over it or something. So, applies the conduit power buff. Okay, cool. Break, spell you start with, breaks the blocks, we know that. Opens the crafting menu, that's pretty neat. Shears entities and blocks or damages non-shearable entities for a small amount. That's interesting. Delay is a neat one. Delays the resolution of effects placed to the right of the spell for a few moments. The delay may be increased with the extend time augment. Because you can have multiple spells fire off, and that's kind of cool. Dispel freezes water or slows a target for a short period of time. That one might be nice to know. I might want freeze. Harm we know already. Harvest, we got the idea of. Ignite, set blocks on fire. Interacts with blocks or entities as if it were a player. Useful for reaching levers, chests, or animals. That's kind of cool. Picks up nearby items in a medium radius. Knocks back an enemy. Boosts the target into the air. Leap launches the target in the direction they are looking. Light, if cast on a block, a permanent light source is created. When cast on yourself, you will receive night vision. When cast on other entities, they will receive night vision and glowing. That's neat. Creates a temporary block that will disappear after a short period of time. I like the look of that one. So I might want to do Phantom. I want to note which one of these I want, right? So Phantom sounds cool. What else did I think was cool? Light, I might want to check out, just because I think that would be cool. Freeze, I want to do. You know me. I like spells. I like spells. Not lightning, light. Lightning might be a higher tier. You can tell based on the type of clay you need what tier of spell this is. So this is probably a level 2. Is mythical level 2? I forget. But what are the rest of our tier 1 spells? Place block. Places blocks from the caster's inventory. If a player is casting this, the spell will place blocks from the hotbar first. Pull. Pulls the target closer. Creates a brief redstone signal on a block, like a button. The signal starts at strength 10 and may be increased with amplify or decreased with dampen. The duration may be extended with extend time. That's neat. And then, what else do we got here? Slow fall, makes sense. Snare, stops entities from moving and jumping. Extend time will increase this. Yes, I want to try that one. I definitely want to try that one. And compare that to freeze. Speed, I like. Provides a speed boost to the target. And Amplify is a cool one, for sure. We want that. Additively increases the power of most spell effects. Can increase the harvest level of break and increases the damage of spells. So we definitely want Amplify. So let's get some of these, right? So Amplify is a diamond. So we literally just get a diamond and one of those clay dudes. And we click the clay in here. Boop. And then we click the diamond in. And he creates it. Oh, look at that model. How great is that model? That is cool. And then we right click it and we unlocked Amplify. And now if we go into our spell book, we can amplify things. So let's play with our harm spell. So we can augment with Amplify now. We can put as many amplifies on there as we want. And effectively, this will just increase the mana costs. So by putting that many on there, we definitely don't have enough mana. But let's see. That's still not enough. We can get more mana, and we will. We will. Don't forget to hit create when you're done here. Oh, hello. That's pretty good. So one more create. Boom, boom, boom. Not enough mana. We'll see how much damage this does. I want to go try it. Oh, sorry, sheep. I want to try it on something with more health than a sheep. Just to see what's up. Just to see what's up. So I feel like popping into the nether is probably your best bet. Did that even, like, hit him or what? I know you have a hilariously weird hitbox, Magma Slime, but still. Not that much damage, did it? Huh. So with a small amount of amplifies on there, and yes, that is, I mean, you can go pretty high on it, so that's doing, you know, some semblance of damage. It's going to take a while. We need to definitely get more mana. And you will unlock more mana and faster mana regeneration. Oh, come on, buddy. I thought I would hit you. Every time you unlock a glyph, remember. And also we can get some armor that adds to our mana and stuff. So that's cool. Yeah, so not a ton of damage just yet, but we will get there. We will definitely get there. That's good to know. I want to kind of... One thing I wouldn't mind doing is, like, playing with similar spells from Mana and Artifice and Ars Magica and comparing them and just kind of figuring out, like, which ones do more damage and stuff. I'm going into shrink mode with my shrinking device just because I want to see this thing real, like, up close because the model is so nice. So we got Amplify. Snare needs a cobweb. Is that craftable? Apparently, yes. Snare needs a cobweb, which, there you go. Sweet. So, boop and boop. Look at that thing. That is cool beans. Wow, that is fancy time. So there's Snare. Let's get Light needs a lantern. Let's get all the things we need here real quick. So I need a snow block for freeze. I need a light. Needs a lantern. And Phantom needs scaffolding, which looks cool. Do I not have string? Is that even a thing that's possible? How could it be that I don't have string? Shouldn't I have that from my... What's a... Okay, I'm very confused. Do I need bamboo for scaffolding? Maybe I do. Okay, that's probably what it is. I don't think I have bamboo, really. I mean, I have a little bit of bamboo. I've got 2, obviously. Do you... What's the growth rules of bamboo? I legitimately have no idea. But I guess we can just be hopeful that this works. I guess it does. Sweet. Yeah, that seems to be working. And then what do? Just break it like that? And then it starts growing again? Oh, that's cool. Today I learned how that works. Well, bamboo problem solved. One of those vanilla things that Dyer just doesn't know. Sweet, you can break it really fast with a sword, too. I guess that's another vanilla thing Dyer didn't know. Alright, so magic clay... No, I didn't want the magic clay to go away. I wanted the other thing to go away. You and you, right? That looks cool. There does not appear to be enough mana nearby. I agree, sir. But I know where I can get some more. So you go back here. And that's a good time. I don't know if those things have like a little internal reservoir of mana, but look, this one looks pretty full. And this one... can I walk on this now? Oh, I can. That's neat. That's cool. I really like that. There's just so many nice models and visuals in Ars Nouveau. It's such a funny thing how, like, Magic mods always look really cool. They always have, like, it's like a thing in modded Minecraft. Like, every time there's a Magic mod, like, the bar is set for, like, some really fancy models and some really fancy textures. I mean, it's cool stuff, right? Alright, so let's do Lantern now. So he consumes the mana before he does the craft, which makes sense. So that's good times. Unlocked Phantom, unlocked Freeze, unlocked Light. Sweet. So let's check out some of these spells now. So we're going to want a Freeze. Let's just do Projectile for all of them, right? Freeze. And I might try augmenting him in a minute, but we'll find out. And then you can be Projectile Snare. And does it, like, auto-spell name it, or no? No, it doesn't. Okay, so let's make sure that you are Freeze. And you are Snare. And then you can be Projectile Light. Cool. And then we'll try messing with amplify, because there's 2 amplifications you can do. I should turn this off, by the way. Don't leave this running or you'll waste LP. There's 2 amplifications that you can do. So there's a time extension one, which I don't know if that's in tier 1 or not. I forget. But amplify increases the power of the spell. So it will increase the damage of it. But there's other spells from ours. Extract, split, accelerate, pierce, fortune, AoE, extend time. This one increases the duration, and that looks like a marvelous clay, so I think that's a tier 2 spell. So extend time will make the effect last longer, rather than having a higher tier effect. So think of it like slowness. Amplify will turn slowness into slowness 2. Extend time will make slowness last 10 seconds instead of 5 seconds. And you can put as many as you want on there. So if you put 2 amplifies, it'll be slowness 3. Deal? So that's pretty cool. So let's check that out. So let me actually try it with myself. Does that sound like a stupid idea? I think yes. So for freeze, if we change projectile into self, yeah, look at that. I got slowness. Cool. And then if we add amplify and cast it, I get slowness 2. Haha. Now if we add another amplify and cast it, I get slowness 3. Oh, amplify again. And we get slowness 4. Nice. Amplify again. Oh yes, slowness 5. And you get the point, right? So let's turn that self back into a projectile, create. And now let's try snare. I feel like snare, I don't need to worry about so much, right? So if I were to, in terms of amplifying, right? So if we turn this into a self, create, and your projectile again, right? So now snare, that basically gives you some serious slowness. Now I'm wearing a lot of stuff, so we might need to try this against a mob. Projectile, create. Should we make it nighttime? Or should we like try casting it on like a bunny who's gonna run away from me? Novice spellbook. Oh yeah, snare definitely, it doesn't last very long, I'll give it that. Not enough mana. But let's amplify it and see what that does. It is hard to aim at a bunny. Come here, little bunny. I need to test something with you. I don't want to hurt you. I just want to make it so you can't move for a few seconds. Man, that doesn't last long at all. I think extend time is going to be an important part of that spell. So that feels like a good wrapping up point for the episode. Let's come back next episode. We've got the basics of Ars Nouveau going. We want to play with a few things. We need to get the enchanting apparatus up and running so that we can make those mana seeds that we learned about. They sound awesome. And then I'd like to get into like tier 2 spells. I'd like to see what other things are available. There's a lot more than just spellcrafting in this mod. So there's tier 2 and 3 spells, but there's also a bunch of machines that do stuff. There's a bunch of automation that you can set up, which sounds really cool. There's mobs in the world, creatures that you can charm and like basically make your pets to make you do things. There's magical equipment, lots of baubles and armor and stuff like that. I'm interested in what these are. I have no idea. And then I guess release notes and entry index. So that's cool. So there's a lot of things to check out in Ars Nouveau. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Let me know in the comments what you think, because I think it's a pretty cool mod. But we're going to be doing this for a couple episodes at least. So for now, Double20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.